So I saw you just performed at the celebration concert for the Olympics in Hyde Park. So how was that experience?
Yeah, it was, you know, there was a couple of times in the set I thought this is a career high. I think it was, we'd not played in Hyde Park before, it was 70,000 people, and the mood of the day was just so high, you know. People were just so into it. And, yeah, it was, you know, it was one of those kinds of gigs that you know, that you're just working towards, you know, and it was, you know, even though I try to have an attitude of like all gigs are like the same, you know, I try not to put too much emphasis on one over another, but there was a lot of complications around that particular performance and the timing of it, and so it was kind of hard to pretend that it was just another gig, but it was very satisfying.
So you guys are still touring behind All You Need Is Now, is that right? Sort of the end of the...
Yeah.
And why do you think this album, you know, clicked so well with your audience? It seems like it's a big success for you guys.
I think you've got to give it up to Mark Ronson for that. You know, I think Mark had a vision, and, you know, he didn't want to reinvent us, you know. He really wanted us to play to our strengths, and, you know, he particularly was a fan of the very early album, the first two albums, actually. He wanted us to revisit, stylistically, I suppose it's best to say, you know, the way that we were playing and the way that we were writing in the early 80s. And it was the right time for us to engage in something like that. I don't know that we would have been up for that 5 years ago, but having done the Timberland experiment, we were actually all quite sort of happy to play the retro game. I mean, we tend to build up a head of steam when we're on the road, and everybody gets very excited about writing. And the feeling is that we can like power through the writing and recording process in the same way as we power through, you know, a U.S. tour. Right. But it never really works out that way. They're very, very different challenges, and we eventually get stuck, you know, and things slow down, and that's when it gets tricky. But you know, you just got. But you know, we all know how it goes. We've done it enough times. So yeah, I think we're in quite a sort of realistic place. We're all enjoying each other's company and enjoying playing, and you know, I think everybody's just happy to have the opportunity to look forward to another album's worth of material, you know, and then maybe take us back out on the road in 2014. And you know, it's nice to even, you know, I mean, like, who thinks like that? We're very lucky to have the stability that we can actually have that conversation. Right. It felt like, I don't know that we've ever been able to, you know, but you know, I say that, and you know, it might take us all of 2014 to finish the album. Right, the best laid plans. But it's interesting, I mean, that you know, when you first came on the scene and you know, video was new and you were this, you know, young band and no one really, you know, naturally you didn't know if you'd still be around in, you know, 10 years, let alone 30 years or whatever. So what do you think, why do you think you've been able to sort of survive for this long and when so many other groups have not? Well, I think that we're very, very passionate. I think we're very ambitious. And hardworking. I mean, I often think that too many bands break up too quickly. You know, because you get that kind of swollen ego situation where people get very, you know, precious about things. I think it's why we see so many bands coming back together, because they realize that they acted kind of hysterically, you know, or they overreacted, you know, and we've kind of come around the block. We appreciate how fortunate we are to have each other. It doesn't mean that we don't ever fight, or that we see everything eye to eye, or that we don't sometimes really, you know, get on each other's nerves. But we do appreciate the fantastic chemistry that we have with each other. and the fantastic opportunities that chemistry affords us. You know, whether it's just getting out and touring when we want to tour, where we want to tour, you know, or going back in the studio and making another album if and when it suits us. You know, these are great privileges, actually, especially when you're in your 50s, and not too many people get to make choices like that. The songs on All You Need Is Now have actually proved to be really good glue to bring the songs of all the different eras together. And I would say that's one of the things when we weigh up, you know, when there's sort of almost 2 years of touring behind that album is put to bed, and we weigh up whether it was a success or not. You know, we're going to turn around and we're going to say, you know what, that album, it was a success. One of the reasons is that the songs on it really lend themselves to live performance. They have the old school qualities of performance, but they've got a freshness to them. We're at a stage we don't have a major label deal. You know, it's all about the brand for us now. You know, it's all about keeping Duran Duran, the name of Duran Duran, you know, keeping it looking cool and shiny as we can make it.